Hi, welcome back to my channel. Thanks for clicking on this. If you don't know me, I'm Nat. I do booktube videos on this channel and a whole bunch of random things as well. Today's video, it's a bit of a special one. It's not gonna be completely related to book reviews that I usually do on this channel. Over the past few months, I've had the pleasure of being on booktube and subsequently bookstagram. I've met a lot of great people, and reading has become such a huge joy in my life, and I'm so grateful for that. But yeah, another thing that I was quite amazed by was the number of follows that I got on my Instagram. So I just hit about 200 follows a few days back, and in celebration of that, I did ask my Insta audience what they would like me to do, and many of y'all requested that I do some sort of Q&A or getting to know me sort of situation. My intro is getting a bit long. Let's just get into the questions. First question is by Sunnysidepages. What's the inspo behind your username, and what music do I listen to? And congrats on the 200. Thank you. The inspo behind my username. So I mean, obviously I wanted to incorporate my name into it somehow. So I mean, my nickname is Nat, right? So I was googling, and apparently natty is an adjective to describe something as fashionable, stylish. I do have an interest in fashion, and I do enjoy styling myself. And Nook is just really a reference to coziness and general comfort. I like curling up in a corner and reading. The whole Nook situation. It's not a natty Nook, a cute little quaint, stylish corner where you can cozy up in is the vibe that I was going for. I don't think I accomplished that on my Bookstars so far. I mean, creating a feed is actually much more difficult than I thought. And what music do I listen to? This is quite hard to answer because I listen to a lot of different music. I think I'm very deliberate about expanding my music taste as much as possible, but that's just me. If I had to pick top choices, I would say house music, especially house classics from the 80s, 90s, in the clubs. I think that kind of beat and that soulfulness is really so particular to that era. Okay, next question. Squigglyreads. Congrats on the 200. Thanks. What inspired you to start a bookstagram, and what are your must-reads and a guilty pleasure book of yours? That's 3 questions in one. Oh, I started with booktube first. And then I figured that Instagram, there was a whole bookstore community on Instagram. I don't think there's a lot of Singaporeans on booktube even. But on Bookstar there is a very thriving community, and I think being able to read people's reviews, I think words are a lot more succinct, whereas booktube videos are a lot more lengthy and more of a emotional instinctive response to books. And one thing I really enjoy about Bookstars is that bookstagrammers are so thoughtful in their reviews, and they always ask questions to the community and are so open to discussing things in the community. What are my must-reads? Must-reads? Well, I guess I don't really feel very strongly that there's a book that everyone should read, but if I had to recommend one book, right, to as general an audience as I can, that would be Quiet by Susan Cain. And I think I've talked about this book 5 times on this channel. But it has really been a life-changing book for me, and I think it will be useful and beneficial for anyone who might want to read it, regardless of who they are and regardless of what culture they come from. I mean, of course, whatever Susan Cain writes about is not going to be universal, but there are certain questions that she raises that I think can be applied to many different contexts and cultures. So that is a book that I will recommend to everyone if they were to ask me. What's a guilty pleasure book of mine? This is hard to say because I don't really read a lot of fiction books, as everyone might know on this channel and on my Bookstars. I find it very hard to get into fiction, which is because there's a lot of world building in it, and oftentimes I don't find it captivating enough to stay. But a guilty pleasure of mine, I think, is anything that's got to do with astrology, which is not really like a book related thing, but more like topic related. I have been getting super into astrology and about the way that we can talk about it, relate to it, exchange memes about it. I think that's kind of like a guilty pleasure because it can be kind of superficial sometimes, but it's like pseudoscience, like pseudo real science. But I mean, that's part of the reason why it's so fun. For your information, I am an Aries sun and a Gemini moon and a Leo rising, which I think is pretty accurate. Okay, next question. Readextra, is that how you pronounce it? What are your go-to beverages while reading? Also, congrats. Yay, thank you. My go-to beverages, it's not a surprise to people who might know me better, but I drink a lot of coffee. I would normally have a good cup of filter coffee as I read, and I also love going to cafes to read while sipping on my coffee, so it's usually coffee. But actually I try not to eat or read while I'm reading because I have really clumsy hands, so I will get something on the book. I try not to do anything with my hands while I'm reading. Sad. Next question. Shelf explanatory. That's a very cute name though. Congrats, yay, thanks. What other things do you like to do aside from reading? Wow, okay. There's so many things. I mean, I think the very first thing is dancing. I have danced longer than I have been reading books, I think. And I love dancing so much. So that's one thing that I do a lot aside from reading. I've been getting into gardening lately. And it's been really nice, very calming. I like that a lot. Be on YouTube a lot. Does that even count? I feel like everyone does that. I don't know. Next question. Bird and books. Yay, hi. Oh my god, hi. Congrats. Thank you so much. What are your favorite spots to chill, read at outside of home? Ooh, nice one. I mean, I did mention just now that I do like to go to cafes to read. But actually sometimes cafes can be really noisy. So it can get really distracting. I love to go to libraries to read. Unfortunately, now we can't. Another place that I like to read is also the outdoors, like in the park. In Singapore, it's a bit hard to do that because it gets really hot outside and you get a lot of insects. But I've done it abroad in different places and I really, really enjoy it. And I can't really tolerate a lot of noise, so if it gets noisy, I'll probably leave. So yeah, cafes usually do it for me. Yay. Shout out to Bird and Books too. Your bird is so cute. What the heck? Okay, next. Thanks for all the questions, by the way. There's just so many. Okay, next one. The Babbling book. Congrats on 200. Thank you. What are the first 3 books that come to the top of your head? 1, 2, 3, go. Oh my god, first 3 books. The first book is This Changes Everything by Naomi Klein. I think this book is like living in my head rent free for like super long. That's for a very long time. Another book that comes to mind, I guess it's the book in front of me. This one, Aircon Revisited. I mean, I've been reading this for like 3 weeks now and on and off because there's just so many things inside it, like essays. Another book. Oh my god. Wait, another book. I have it right now. It's on my bed. Let me go and grab it. Okay, this is the next book that, I mean, this comes to the top of my head, which is Notes on the Death of Culture, Essays on Spectacle and Society by Mario Vargas Llosa. Which is so crazy. This is such an interesting book. I'm so tempted to start it, but I have so many other books I have not finished, so I am going to have some self-control and not read it yet. Next question by okay, I'm sorry if I didn't pronounce it right. Favorite library? Wow, hard one. Library at Orchard in Singapore. I don't know whether you know what that looks like. You can Google it, I guess, but it's a national library branch in the Orchard area that it's focused primarily on like graphic design or creative kind of like related collections. I really love the space because it's a mix of like design and books, and it's such a great place to sit down and read in the middle of the city. That's my favorite library as of now. Next question. Tanvis Read Ventures. Is that how you pronounce it? Congrats, thanks. Would love to know what you do in real life, work and study. Good question. So I graduated with a degree in anthropology. Like my major was anthropology and my minor was in psychology. So I'm like a total social science nerd. No surprise there. So I will be working in NLB. I'm not gonna disclose too many details. If not, then like privacy, you know. But that's my life update, and I think it'll be cool. Like I'm actually gonna be a librarian. Wow. So next question, Mitch reads. Hi, congrats, thank you. And what is your favorite singlet book? Also, do I have any siblings? Ooh, my favorite singlet book. I mentioned this before, I think in one of my recommendations on this channel, but it is really Ministry of Moral Panic by Amanda Lee. It is a really haunting book. I have something for authors who have this a bit of like a surrealist tinge to their writing. Short stories usually do it for me better. I don't know whether it's because of my attention span, but I don't think so. I mean, I can go through non-fiction books easily. So, do I have any siblings? This is an interesting question because what do you guys think? Like, do you think that I have siblings? A lot of people think that I am an only child, which is interesting. But to inform y'all, I actually have 2 older siblings. Many people are usually shocked because they think that I'm the oldest or a middle child and never the youngest. But I am actually the youngest child. Ooh. Okay, next question by Bisbee Books. Cute name. Congrats on the 200. Thanks. What was your favorite book when you were growing up? Okay, so this I had to search it up. There's this book that I read so many times when I was young, but prior to being asked this question, I never bothered to go and check what it was. And it's this book called Cool! By Michael Morpurgo, and it's about this boy who was hit by a car, and enters a state of coma. And you know, there are many people that come and visit him. It's a book that's written from his perspective as someone who's in coma. This book has left such a strong impression on me. It's a very emotional book, I think, but it's a children's book, and I still remember the storyline so strongly until today. I wouldn't say it's like my favorite book. If you ask me like my favorite book, that would be the whole series of like horrible science or horrible histories, which I wouldn't really consider like a book because they're basically encyclopedias that are written in children's format. So I wouldn't count that as a book. But yeah, I just wanted to bring light to this one book because I don't think I've heard anyone else talking about it before. So I have no idea how I managed to read it and where it is now, because it was like more than 10 years ago, like 15 years ago or something. Yeah, so thanks for that question. I think it was a good trip down memory lane. Last question, yay! Fancy as reads. Oh hi, fellow booktuber, yay! Okay. Congrats, thank you. Do you have any reading pet peeves? This is a really hard question. I think really because I'm not someone that's very careful with my belongings. So if anyone has pet peeves, that would be against me. I guess a minor pet peeve that I have is when people highlight books, because this is about book related pet peeves, right? And I don't really like highlighters on books. I don't like the way that they look on the page because they're usually neon, and I don't like the way that it feels. Like, it feels very, it makes it feel like a textbook almost. I mean, I do all my annotations in pencil if I have to. Other than that, I don't really have pet peeves. I think maybe when people try to talk to me when I'm reading, but I think everyone hates that, right? Okay, so that's all the questions. I try my best to answer them quickly so that you don't have to read, is that you don't have to watch me talk for so long. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for all the questions again. It was really fun to answer them, and I hope y'all got to know me a bit better also with this video, with this Q&A. And I haven't really been very active on BookTube or Booksta. I was wrapping up a few other things in my life. Yeah, I just didn't really have the time to sit down and produce content. You know, I was just reading really for myself and reading to make bigger connections in my life. But I do want to get back to making videos for this month, and hopefully like more consistently in the future as well. Thanks for joining me. Thanks again for everyone, your support on Booksta, on BookTube, wherever in life in general. Yeah, let me know if there's other things that I should cover or talk about on this channel or on my Booksta. And have a nice week. Cool. Bye. Take care. Please take care.